Well, thanks for having me again. I appreciate you camping out at Red State. Look, I think that what I bring to the table is somebody who has been very strong in being a Reagan-type conservative, being strong on defense, strong on limited government, strong on going after excessive spending, and obviously somebody that believes in a strong society. And you look at with this Iran deal, for example, I was the first one to go to the House floor to condemn it as soon as it was announced, because I knew what Obama was trying to do. I knew that it would be giving a lot of money to Iran, and I knew they would allow Iran to continue to have their nuclear program. And that just 2 years ago, even all Democrats and Republicans all said that was totally unacceptable. So the administration's moved so far in Iran's direction that I knew it would be something that had to be defeated. And now you're starting to see some pretty high-profile Democrats come out against the deal. I think it's possible. We still have to see. What I would say, though, is that given the type of people who've come out, high-profile Democrats, that leaves me to believe that there is a chance to override Obama's veto. And I think the way the president's played it, has been a mistake. What he basically is saying is, these Republicans, they're just like the Iranian hardliners. Well, excuse me, when I was in Iraq, the #1 cause of death was from Iranian-made bombs. And Qasem Soleimani, the head of Quds Force, was orchestrating that. Guess what? This deal lifts the international sanctions on Soleimani and the Quds Force. Right. And so when he's making those arguments, and then you look at the facts of the deal, I think the president's actually hurt himself. But what I think he's doing, he's trying to go real negative on Republicans, just in the hope that because Republicans are against it, there'll be enough Democrats that can sustain his veto. So we'll see if it works. It was a deal that was really doomed from the start. I mean, we in the House, we passed increased sanctions 2 years ago with over 400 votes. Reid was filibustering that in the Senate. He would not allow it to come up for a vote. And so then the president, John Kerry, went on this escapade, and it began with giving Iran unilateral concessions just to come to the negotiating table. Well, a regime like that, they see, okay, they've given me concessions already, I'm just going to keep asking for more. And that's what they've done. They basically pocketed concessions throughout this whole course of the negotiation. So we're here where we are. The deal elevates Iran really as the dominant power in the Middle East. And oh, by the way, that's going to make it more difficult for us to fight ISIS, because if you're a Sunni Arab in like Al Anbar province or in eastern Syria, why would you want to make common cause with anyone who is backed by Iran? You don't want to be run by a Shiite government. And if ISIS is the only Sunni game in town, they're going to go to ISIS.
Are there a lot of parallels here between this deal and the recent Cuban embargo deal, or the deal with Cuba as far as normalizing relations with them?
There is. I mean, I think that both are unilateral concessions. I think Cuba in some ways was even more ridiculous, because we didn't get anything for that. We're just giving the Castro regime all these concessions. They need money. They're going to now get a lot of money, and the Castro brothers are going to be able to solidify themselves in power. And I think we're already seeing a repression increase in Cuba as a result of this. So I think that basically the president, John Kerry, look at America as being the problem, and they think that if we just change policies and make concessions to rogue regimes, that somehow those regimes are going to change. And that's just not going to happen. And so I think both the Castro brothers and the Ayatollah are both laughing to the bank.